Hi, welcome to How to Listen So Customers Buy from Intentional Growth Strategies. Let's review why you might be here today. First, you're responsible for selling. Second, you're good at it. And third, you want to be better. If this is true, then you're in the right place. My name is Shoma Jurgensen, and I'm the owner of Intentional Growth Strategies. So what should you expect here today? There are 4 areas, skills that you can work on to improve your listening. The first one is to ask thoughtfully. Second, listen intently. Third, respond intentionally. And 4, repeat often. These 4 skills are what allow us to do more listening than we do speaking. And if this quote is true, which it is, having 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak, why is it so hard for us, particularly for salespeople? Well, truly, it's a taught behavior. We're taught product knowledge. We're taught features over solutions. We learn to present. We learn to tell. We learn to pitch. We're never taught to listen. Before we get into the video, there's some assumptions I want you to keep in mind about practicing these listening skills. First is that you have already qualified the prospect, okay? And this is more than a fly-by meeting. You're taking the time to really engage that customer, and they're ready to engage. They might not be ready to buy, but listening can help that. So what happens when we listen? The magic really happens between your prospect sharing with you and you listening to what they say. In the overlap is the magic, and that's the learning. Now, when we don't listen, we block our ability to learn. And that's not what we want. So, what happens when we listen? We engage the customer. We gain their buy-in into the process. We create a dialogue so they're participating, partnering with us in the process of finding the right solution for them. You never want them to wonder, are you listening to me? So let's do this. Let's get to the listening skills. First, again, as a review, to ask thoughtfully, listen intently, respond intentionally, and repeat often. So what do we do when we ask thoughtfully? The last thing we want is to expect the customer or the prospect to start things off. We don't want to hear crickets, right? That's not what we want. No. So let's get started with a very prospect-focused message. First, share with them how your current customers benefit from doing business with your company. Second, share a little bit about why your current clients or customers choose you. And then we're ready for the big question. If we could provide X benefit to your business today, what would it look like to you? So let's use a benefit of convenience. If we could provide convenience to your business today, what would it look like to you? There are 2 important words here. One is today. You want your prospect to be thinking about the here and now, pain points that they are currently experiencing. It's far more urgent to them to solve them. And then would it look like to you? We're not telling them what their problems are. We're asking them what a vision of convenience looks like to them. Very prospect focused. And now it's your turn to listen. And the first part of this skill is stop talking. This is tremendously difficult for me. It may be for you as well. But I have to sometimes visualize myself holding my hand over my mouth because I get so excited about the benefits that my company has to offer. But not talking is the first step. Now, we're used to talking. And when we're not talking, we're used to thinking about what our next response is going to be. It takes time for our brain to slow down and get used to listening. So here's my challenge to you. For the first 5 full minutes of speaking with your prospect or engaging with your prospect, don't say anything unless you are clarifying or summarizing something they are telling you. All right, this is a challenge to you. Third, I hope I don't have to tell you this, but remove distractions. All right, if your cell phone is with you, don't put it on vibrate, turn it off. Don't leave it on the table. Put it away. Because not only do you need to listen intently, you need to communicate to your prospect that you are indeed listening. And now we're priming our brain, right? Listening doesn't just happen with our ears. You want to practice summarizing in your mind while you're listening. This will help train your brain to listen for the words that your customers and your potential clients are saying to you. So, the way to summarize is to think this: what my prospect is trying to say is. So they'll tell you something and you'll repeat it in your mind. What my prospect is trying to say is. All right, so you're listening now. But it's not going to be one way. Remember, I said this was a dialogue. So if you can't talk for the first full 5 minutes, what are you going to do? Well, first, you want to be comfortable with silence. Pauses can get uncomfortable, and we're trained to rush in and start pitching. But you might be cutting the prospect off. So give them time to think, give them time to signal to you that it's your turn. When it is, now your summary goes from your brain to your mouth, all right? And these are some phrases you can use to summarize what you've been hearing from your prospect. One is to say, what I understood is, or it seems to me you're saying, or my favorite, I use this one all the time, is, may I take a moment to summarize? Right? So now you're letting them pause, you're providing them with a summary, and they may say, no, that's not quite what I mean. That's okay, that's great, because then they have another chance to help you understand. Now, once you get your summary right, it's time for questions. So you're trying to probe, get more information. You're not leading them to a stage of your process that you want them to get to. You're trying to get more information. Now, either your prospect is going to start very specifically and you want to ask questions that take them in a little more aerial view, a little more strategically, or they're going to start very strategically and you want to get them down to some more specifics, gathering that information. This is called funneling. If you want to see some sample scripts or examples of conversations that use funneling, you'll want to visit my website. It's here, and the blog Are You Listening, which is what this video is based upon. All right, would love to see you get some scripts there. Now, listening does not just happen with your ears. As I said, it happens with your whole body. So please keep in mind that this advice I'm giving you is for Western business audiences. You can find a resource in my blog that will help you with other cultures. So first, remember this: 93% of communication happens through nonverbal signals. That means your tone, your pitch, your rate of speaking, that's how quickly you speak, your body language. Those are 95% of an impact on your communication. That means no matter how good your sales script is, it can only account for 7% of your communication success. Keep this in mind because you want to use the rest of your body. You want to make appropriate eye contact. You want to reflect the emotion. So if someone is telling you something happy, successful, you want to reflect that in your expressions. If they're telling you about something that has been concerning them, then you want to reflect that in your expression as well. Now, this is called reflecting. It is not manipulative. What it is empathetic. If they're telling you something that's concerning and you're smiling, that's a disconnect. You're not communicating that you're listening. You also want to lean forward a little bit to show interest. Now, this guy, it's a little much. You want to keep your shoulders, your arms also relaxed and open because you don't want to look like you're ready to pounce in and take over the conversation. Okay? And finally, your prospect is not used to being listened to intently. So you're going to need to nod your head when they are struggling to find a word or are stretching for a concept that they want to explain to you. All right, so your whole body gets involved in this act of listening. You will go back and forth. It's a dialogue. So you'll get more information. You'll ask more questions. You'll offer information and ask more questions. This give and take is something you'll cycle through. So at this point, let's think about this again. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because you're trying to develop stronger relationships, and in that way, creating more customers and clients that are loyal to you and your business, and therefore generating more sales. So you will go through this cycle, but just repeating it with your prospects isn't enough practice. So you want to repeat these skills and practice them often. So use them with supervisors, coworkers, friends, family. There's so many ways that you can practice your listening skills, because the last thing we want to hear is, are you listening? I hope you enjoyed the video today, and there is more and will be more. So if you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe.